Laverne and Shirley didn't just bring laughter, it hid a darker truth behind the scenes. From secret romances and wild partying to sudden deaths, you'll be shocked by how much the cast has changed in this video. Number 1, we come to Penny Marshall, who played Laverne DeFazio, the sharp-tongued, working-class dreamer with the famous L stitched on her sweater. She was 33 years old when she joined Laverne and Shirley in 1976. In just a single season, she became one of the most recognizable faces on American television. Sadly, she died at 75 on December 17, 2018, from complications of diabetes that led to heart failure, after also enduring lung and brain cancer. She was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills, closing a chapter that had shaped an entire generation of viewers. Yet her most shocking transformation came after the sitcom ended. Instead of fading, she stepped behind the camera and directed big in 1988, becoming the first woman to helm a film that grossed over $100 million in the U.S., then followed it with A League of Their Own in 1992. Success, however, came with resistance. Studio executives doubted her authority, critics compared her to her brother Gary Marshall, and she fought constantly to be taken seriously in rooms that underestimated her. Off-screen, her personal life quietly unraveled. 2 marriages, first to Michael Henry, then to Rob Reiner, ended in divorce under the strain of ambition and emotional distance. Living for decades with type 1 diabetes slowly weakened her heart and limited her later years. By the time she passed, her net worth stood at approximately $45 million. Number 2, we turn to Cindy Williams, who portrayed Shirley Feeney, the soft-spoken optimist who balanced Laverne's fire. She was just 29 years old when her sweetness on screen helped turn the show into a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. Tragically, she passed away at 75 on January 25, 2023, following a brief illness believed to involve cardiac complications. Her death was sudden, leaving fans stunned and co-stars. Long before and after the sitcom, Cindy gained critical praise in American Graffiti and appeared in The Conversation, but her departure from Laverne and Shirley in 1982 became one of the show's most controversial moments. A contract dispute collided with her pregnancy, leading to lawsuits and a bitter exit that altered the trajectory of her career and fractured relationships behind the scenes. As her professional life shifted, her marriage to singer Bill Hudson ended after years of tension and reported infidelity, leaving her to raise 2 children while rebuilding her career. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated at around $10 million. Number 3, we come to David L. Lander, who played Andrew Squiggy Squigman, the nasal-voiced troublemaker who burst into every room beside Lenny. He was 29 years old when he joined Laverne and Shirley in 1976. With one exaggerated entrance and a single hello, he became unforgettable. Sadly, he died at 73 on December 4, 2020, after decades living with multiple sclerosis, a disease he had been diagnosed with in 1984 but kept secret for years to protect his career. The illness gradually weakened his muscles and drained his strength, yet he continued working long after doctors advised caution. His passing marked the end of a long, painful fight. Even as his body declined, his voice carried on. He appeared in Who Framed Roger Rabbit and reunited with castmates in A League of Their Own, later earning a Daytime Emmy for voice work. But the constant fear of being replaced if his illness were discovered forced him to hide symptoms on set, adding emotional strain to physical suffering. Through it all, his marriage to Kathy Fields remained steady from 1979 until his death, though the progression of MS reshaped their family life and required enormous resilience. Together, they raised a daughter while adjusting to hospital visits and mobility challenges. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at approximately $8 million. Number 4, we arrive at Eddie Mecca, who portrayed Carmine the Big Ragusa, the passionate singer and Shirley's on-again, off-again love. He was just 24 years old when his Broadway-trained voice gave the sitcom unexpected musical flair. Sadly, he died at 69 on November 27, 2021, reportedly due to complications related to blood clots. His later years were shadowed by declining health that limited his mobility and public appearances. After the series, he leaned heavily into stage work, earning a Tony Award nomination early in his career and later appearing in productions like Dreamgirls and in A League of Their Own. But unlike some castmates, he struggled to break free from the big ragu image, often cast in supporting roles rather than leading ones. His marriage to Delee Lively, which began in 1983, lasted until his death and provided stability as his health worsened. They raised a daughter together, navigating financial ups and downs. At the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at around $500,000. Number 5, we turn to Michael McKean, who played Lenny Kosnowski, the goofy, loyal best friend to Squiggy. He was 29 years old when he joined Laverne Shirley in 1976. His offbeat timing turned Lenny into one half of one of sitcom history's most beloved comic duos. In 2026, he is 79 years old and continues to work selectively in film, television, and music. His longevity in the industry reflects both versatility and resilience, surviving decades of shifting trends in Hollywood. After the sitcom, he reinvented himself with This Is Spinal Tap in 1984, proving he could satirize the very industry that created him. Decades later, he stunned audiences again in Better Call Saul, earning an Emmy nomination and critical respect for dramatic depth few expected from a former sitcom comedian. His first marriage to Susan Russell ended in divorce after more than 2 decades, leaving emotional strain that shaped his middle years. In 1999, he married actress Annette O'Toole, finding renewed stability. His net worth is estimated at approximately $12 million. Number 6, we come to Phil Foster, who played Frank DeFazio, Laverne's loud, stubborn, but secretly tender father. He was 63 years old when his old-school Brooklyn energy gave the sitcom its emotional backbone. Sadly, he died at 72 in 1985 after suffering a sudden heart attack. His passing came abruptly, cutting short a career that had stretched from vaudeville stages to prime-time television. Before becoming Frank, he had already built credibility as a stand-up comic and character actor, appearing in Bang the Drum Slowly and The Last Married Couple in America, even earning an Obie Award for his stage work. Through it all, he remained married to Thelma Leeds from 1939 until his death, raising 2 sons while balancing the instability of show business. The pressure of constantly chasing work weighed heavily, but the marriage endured. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at approximately $2 million. Number 7, we turn to Betty Garrett, who portrayed Edna Babish, the warm, sharp-witted landlady who later married Frank DeFazio. She was 57 years old when her presence added maturity, humor, and quiet strength to the series. Tragically, she died at 91 in 2011 from an aortic aneurysm. Her passing closed a chapter on one of the last surviving performers of Hollywood's golden age. Before television rediscovered her, she had dazzled audiences in MGM musicals like On the Town and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But her career was derailed when her husband, Larry Parks, was blacklisted during the McCarthy era due to alleged political ties. Studios distanced themselves. Work disappeared. She was forced back to theater, rebuilding slowly while carrying the weight of stigma that was never fully deserved. Yet, she remained a happy marriage with Larry Parks until his death in 1975, raising 2 sons while navigating years of professional exile. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated at around $5 million. Number 8, we come to Leslie Easterbrook, who played Rhonda Lee, the glamorous, confident bombshell who turned heads the moment she walked into the brewery. She was 31 years old when she joined Laverne Shirley in 1980. Her bold presence instantly shifted the energy of the show's later seasons. In 2026, she is 77 years old and living largely out of the spotlight after decades in television and film. After leaving the sitcom, she rebranded herself in a way few expected. She became widely recognized as Sergeant Callahan in the Police Academy franchise from 1984 to 1994, embracing a tougher, more commanding image that shattered the stereotype of Rhonda's flirtatious charm. Years later, she stunned audiences again in Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects, 2005, proving she could thrive in horror as convincingly as in comedy. That reinvention kept her relevant long after many sitcom stars faded. Her personal life eventually found stability. She married screenwriter Dan Wilcox in 1999, and their marriage remained strong until his death in 2024, a loss that deeply affected her after decades together. With no children, her closest bonds were often with longtime friends, including members of the Police Academy cast, whom she once described as family. As of 2026, her estimated net worth is around $3 million. Number 9, we turn to Carol Ita White, who portrayed Rosie Greenbaum, one of the familiar faces who filled the world around Laverne and Shirley. She was just 27 years old when she joined the show in 1976. Though her role was supporting, she helped create the lived-in texture that made the series believable. In 2026, she is 77 years old and continues to work occasionally as both an actress and writer, maintaining a career built on persistence rather than headline fame. After Laverne and Shirley, she appeared in cult favorites like Chopping Mall, 1986, and had smaller roles in films such as The Naked Gun, 1988. Unlike some of her co-stars, her personal life has remained largely private. In 2010, she publicly came out as bisexual, adding another layer of honesty to a career shaped by quiet resilience. As of 2026, her estimated net worth is around $1 million. Number 10, we come to Ed Marinaro, who played Sonny St. Jacques, the charming, confident football player who briefly shook up the girls' world. He was 30 years old when he joined Laverne and Shirley in 1980. At that point, he had already lived one life before Hollywood ever called his name. In 2026, he is 76 years old and continues to make selective appearances while largely enjoying a quieter life after decades in sports and television. After his stint on the sitcom, he solidified his acting credibility in Hill Street Blues from 1981 to 1986, earning an Emmy nomination and proving he was more than just a former athlete. Decades later, he surprised a younger generation with his comedic role in Blue Mountain State, embracing a self-aware humor about his football image. Yet the transition from professional sports to Hollywood was not seamless. He eventually found personal stability in his marriage to fitness expert Tracy York, with whom he shares a son, though the emotional toll of changing careers and public perception followed him for years. As of 2026, his estimated net worth stands at around $3 million, earned across both the football field and the soundstage. Number 11, we come to Lynn Marie Stewart, who played Barbara Tedesco in Laverne and Shirley. She was around 30 years old when she appeared on the show. Though her role was smaller, it became one step in a long career built on character comedy. Lynn Marie Stewart passed away on February 21, 2025, at the age of 78 after battling cancer discovered near her liver and gallbladder. Her death marked the quiet loss of a performer beloved in comedy circles, but often overlooked by mainstream audiences. She spent her final months surrounded by close friends in Los Angeles. Her most iconic role came later as Miss Yvonne on Pee-wee's Playhouse. She earned a Daytime Emmy nomination and remained closely associated with Paul Reubens, not only as a co-star, but as a lifelong friend. Together, they brought joy to terminally ill children through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, often appearing in character even off-camera. Stewart never married and had no children, dedicating much of her emotional life to friendships and charitable work. Reubens' death in 2023 deeply affected her, and she remained close to him until his final days. At the time of her passing, her estimated net worth was around $2 million. Number 12. We come to Beau Capral, who played Officer Norman Hughes, Laverne's straight-faced police officer boyfriend. He was around 30 years old when he appeared on Laverne and Shirley. Though his screen time was limited, the role became one of his most recognized acting credits. In 2026, he is 75 years old and continues working primarily behind the scenes as a writer, producer, and creative executive. After his acting appearances in several 1970s sitcoms, including The Jeffersons and The Mary Tyler Moore Show, he shifted toward writing and producing. He contributed to multiple network series, developed reality shows, and worked with major broadcasters including ABC, NBC, CBS, Comedy Central, Discovery, and HGTV. He eventually moved into advertising and corporate production, building his own creative company and producing thousands of radio and television commercials. As of 2026, his estimated net worth is approximately $500,000. Number 13, we come to Vicki Lawrence, who portrayed Sergeant Alvinia T. Plout in 1977. She was 28 years old when she appeared on Laverne and Shirley. By that time, she was already a familiar face in American comedy. In 2026, she is 77 years old and remains active through selective appearances, advocacy work, and public speaking. Even after decades in entertainment, she continues to engage with fans while managing her health and honoring her late husband, Al Schultz, who passed away in 2024. Her fame, however, began long before her guest role on the sitcom. She rose to prominence on The Carol Burnett Show, where she spent over a decade mastering sketch comedy and later headlined Mama's Family, earning multiple Emmy Awards. But behind the laughter were personal battles. Her first marriage to singer Bobby Russell ended painfully amid emotional strain, while her second marriage to makeup artist Al Schultz brought stability and 2 children. In 2011, she was diagnosed with chronic idiopathic urticaria, a painful autoimmune condition that caused severe hives and swelling. Rather than hide it, she became a spokesperson to raise awareness, turning illness into advocacy. Politically outspoken and socially active, she evolved publicly over the years, redefining herself beyond comedy. As of 2026, her estimated net worth stands at around $8 million. From 1976 to 2026, the faces of Laverne and Shirley have changed in ways no one could have predicted. Some found reinvention, some faced quiet battles, and some are no longer with us. Which transformation surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more then and now stories that reveal what time really does behind the spotlight.